to come on stage. We talked this morning about investing into companies. Klaus made the point, watch the big guys. Now, we invited those three gentlemen on stage, which are companies we know well because we have seen a lot of our customers, clients on the M&A side working with your products. And we have a long history of relationship. You guys came to the early editions of our conference. Yeah. And like every year, we want to ask you the big question, what's happening in the world of search, what's happening in the world of social, and how can our audience take some lessons learned from you in regards to using their advertising products to their advantage. We are having a quick panel, but before we go into the panel, I would like you to introduce yourselves. And with the introduction, we allowed you, since you're also, of course, selling your service, we allowed you to come with one slide. So Michael, if you start explaining your business, and as usual, you only have 10 seconds.
Yeah, okay. Can we get the slide? Okay, we do it just outside. So, Intelligence is doing real-time personalization. So when we take the data which is available on the web since long time, but now with a big data trend, it's really obvious to take that data to personalize user interfaces, especially for e-commerce shops and also for publishers, and use data like location, Facebook, user data, cookies, but also a lot of search keywords to personalize landing pages, shops, and re-rank the product feeds. Okay, now we get the slide. You can see here Facebook data, also shop data, CRM data, whatever, it's there. And then we use it, match it in real time. So one of the big tricks is to do it in real time and not just one by one or manual, what some of the old competitors are doing. And then we play it out on different devices. So it's really obvious that on a mobile phone you need some kind of different size of the screen, different product ranking. And we hear probably data from that again, then on TV or on the web. And what we normally do is after 4 or 8 weeks, you have 20, 30, 40, 50% uplift, depending on how deep you go in personalization and also what the shop has. So the product portfolio, the bigger the traffic, the more we can personalize. Okay, thank you.
So I'm Meir Reich, I'm the CEO and founder of Rank Above. We're a Tel Aviv-based startup focused on search engine optimization. We've built a software platform that helps large organizations do their SEO. If we can get the slide up there. So we have offices in Tel Aviv and in New York. I believe something we're going to touch upon a little bit later in terms of the internationalization that we're talking about. What we actually do is we do not just the software part of the business, which gives companies the ability to see what they need to do to improve their websites, what they need to do to make sure that they get more traffic from organic search. But we also have a service layer on top of that and some technology that we've built to help companies get out of Google penalties, which is something that more and more companies are getting themselves into as Google rolls out more algorithm updates over the course of the year.
So we are calling Meir when the game is over and you want to go back to the playing field.
When you say search is dead, then you usually have to call us.
Marcus, you're also in the SEO game.
Yeah, I'm Marcus Tober, I'm the founder of Searchmetrics. We're a Berlin-based company with about 120 employees. We are also in the enterprise business, so I didn't prepare one slide, I have 10 slides. But I don't want to go through all the slides, so we are focusing on the big brands, the big enterprises, and also like Rank Above, like Meir, we really try to increase the visibility of everybody, or especially for international companies. And we have some questions according to the topic. If you really understand what Google and the big players are doing, you can use this as a leverage for your own business, because organic search is still 90% of the traffic. And this is what many people forget. They're focusing on everything that's performance-driven, and we try to turn our knowledge into a very performance-driven approach. Yeah.
Okay, 80% of the traffic is still SEO related. And as we know, all these fancy Google algorithm updates put into funny names like panda, etc., are occurring. And people are arguing that Google is doing that because, yes, they do make a lot of money with advertising, but as you said, 80% of their business is unmonetized in terms of the traffic. Now, Mayor Markus, when these gentlemen and ladies become your customers, what is really the product you offer when you look at the SEO side? Are you helping on outsourcing manually hard labor through technology? Are you helping by having a link into Google and knowing when the next algo change is happening? What's making your product special, and why should I become your customers?
So the reason that our product is special is because it really covers everything that you just asked about. Our product automatically stays on top of every Google update because Google updates don't just happen in a vacuum. It's something that takes time. They test most of their algorithmic updates before they actually release them, and people start yelling that they've lost their traffic. So as long as you have enough data, which we index about a billion pages a month for our customers, we can see that change of data pretty quickly, and we can usually work with them to make sure that they don't get hit by the penalty. The other thing is that we really want to be able to focus our software, and the reason we've built our software the way we have is focused on the website itself. If you improve your website, if it's a good place for people to visit, if people have good engagement on your website, it's typically going to be a website that can rank better than the other companies out there. If you look at, one of the great examples I like to use, even though some of their SEO traffic has trailed off a little bit, is Amazon. Amazon's probably one of the best user experience websites out there, and they also happen to perform very well in search. So you can make the connection between great user experience and an easy user flow within the website in the same way that Google will index those websites better based on users being able to buy something or interact with your content.
Markus, how are you helping companies to win in the SEO game?
I think one of the most important things that many people forget if it comes to SEO, organic search, is that it's about the user, it's not about a search engine. And this is our approach, that we built a platform with a very holistic approach where we put a lot of data together from user behavioral data. We have PPC data which you can integrate, you can see it holistically. Everything that happens in PPC you can also use as a leverage in SEO. And in the end it's really about using all the data that's available to have a leverage for SEO, and that also allows you to decrease the cost per conversion, because if you only have let's say PPC or display and you don't focus on all the channels, then you will always have a gap. And if you focus on SEO as well, then you can decrease the cost by conversion, and you can outperform your competition when they only focus on PPC. And this is something that's within search metrics, that you have that kind of very holistic driven approach.
So in short, as long as Google does change the algorithm and you want to grow your business, people should turn to you and get help to beef up the free traffic and maneuver around the tactical product innovations of Google. Michael, when we met, I think your business did 20,000 revenues. That's per month. It's I think almost 3 years ago.
Yep.
You have grown your business, I think 50 times that amount or even higher. In short words, as far as I understand your service, you individualize for each visitor the website of your customer, depending on certain criteria, and by doing that you have higher conversion at your customer side of 30%. When people advertise in the SEM side on Google, they actually get 30% more out of their money, and as we know, Google CPC prices are quite high. For some it's probably a make it or break it way to use your service. Explain to us, without the technical side of your very complicated product, how do you do that?
So 3 years ago when we met, we did more in the social area, but the social area really didn't took off so much. But what you can see now with the Facebook growth and advertising revenues, sure, we also do social, but what we found out is that the people have a really big issue with the CPC prices. So what we did is we extended the solution to AdWords, we integrated the APIs, we also have the Google API, we integrate the product APIs of the shops, and then we generate this on the fly. Yes, technology-wise, it's a lot of machine learning, and it's in the end, from the approach, more or less similar how Google is doing the search rankings. And if you do that, and we can directly show now, because of the references in the different verticals and the best practice, that if we do that across all the marketing channels, and yes, Google is normally number one because there's the biggest pain, but we can also do it for affiliate or mobile, then we just make them more money and we get split out of their extra revenues. So we benchmark always 90% of the traffic is going to our servers, 10% to their servers, and you can see live how much money you make.
So with what criteria you are individualizing the landing page? Give us some example.
If you come from AdWords, we know the keywords you typed in, the location, the time, the device you're using, weather perhaps you could use, but it's in the end not that you use everything, but finding case by case. In travel is a bit different to gaming, in retail it's different.
What works best?
Best is always using AdWords data because it's always a call to action, you want to buy soon. AdWords keywords plus device plus product feed optimization. It's working definitely 20-30% better. So and everybody could do it manually, linking every ad they have into the shop. But if we do it fully automated for whatever 100,000 keywords, 1 million products, that is a scalability we reach then, where big sites can do it.
So while Marcus and Maya help you to get free traffic, Michael is helping you to convert this free traffic into purchases and revenues.
Yeah. We more use SEA, the
SEM.
The board stuff, yeah, and but we can also do it for natural search. Natural search, you just don't have so much data like on board if you buy into media.
So mobile is a big topic, and I think what would be interested to know is what does mobile do to search? Is it just the same on the desktop on the mobile device, Marcus?
I think mobile is a big change because everything is mobile now and a lot of things happen on mobile. And last week or the week before, Google said that 40% of all the traffic on YouTube, for example, is coming from mobile devices. And it's crazy because that's such a big site with so much traffic.
Can you repeat that metrics?
40%.
40% of the Google traffic is mobile?
No, on YouTube.
YouTube.
That's what Google said 2 weeks ago.
1 in 7 searches take place on a mobile device right now.
Yeah, but let me answer your question. I think that the mobile is so disruptive because the presentation on a mobile device must be completely different than on a desktop device. That's why it is a very important thing for search engines to have a very good user experience, right? So if I'm on my smartphone and I have a 4-inch screen on the iPhone, then I don't want to have the desktop version, right? So responsive design is something that's very important. A very good user experience for mobile is very important. So I really see that there will be a big gap between desktop search and mobile search because mobile search is always something related to, for example, the location, something nearby. I have a different intention on my mobile device than on a desktop device or on my desktop PC. So I think it will be going into different directions. At the moment, Google is figuring out, what's the best result on mobile than on desktop, and you have for many queries you have different results. But the reason is that websites, they have a mobile version instead of responsive design, which means you have the same URLs and all this stuff. But I think let's say in 5 years, nearly nobody's using a desktop PC anymore. You will have so many different devices like iPads or mobile phones and so, but the typical desktop experience, that will go away.
Maya, what are you doing on mobile?
So we've actually done extensive testing on mobile versus web. We're seeing something fairly different than what Marcus and I were actually talking about before we came up on stage in terms of the results. I believe that Google's algorithms and the changes have basically converged web and mobile. where they're basically looking for, as Marcus said, responsive design, sites that perform well on mobile, but those same exact results, almost one-to-one when we've done several million queries across not brand keywords, but generic type of keyword queries. We found that the results are almost identical, which makes us believe pretty strongly that that convergence has already happened in Google's algorithm. So web and mobile both have to be good design, as Marcus was talking about, in terms of that convergence is now already baked into the algorithm at this stage. So if you have a terrible mobile site, don't expect to perform extremely well in web search either.
Yeah, but take a location-based query. If you're out there and you look for Starbucks, then you get a completely different result if you're looking for Starbucks on a PC. But just as an example, this is why mobile is so different.
So we actually did a bunch of queries around specific type of local searches, and they were pretty much identical. The only difference was it depended on which data center of Google's we ended up getting the data from. And that's what we were seeing when we did our testing across New York City and San Francisco specifically.
Yeah, but if you're inside, you don't look typically location-based on a desktop PC. There's no need. Typically, you look for something that's more generic. But let's discuss this later. I guess it's.
Well, I'm sure we can all discuss it. The world of Facebook and Google and advertising is a science on its own. And please find the three gentlemen in the busy lobby. I hear a lot of talking there, and ask your questions on how these guys can help you.
I have a workshop tomorrow.
And yes, you have all workshops actually coming up. Yeah. Thank you for pointing that out. And in your kind of program leaflet, you find the times and the locations. And my questioning usually limits the quality of the panel. When they have the show, I'm sure you will learn a lot more interesting details on how to work with those three companies to even be more successful than you are already. Definitely. Well, thank you very much for joining that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Marco.